Coach Carol here, and I've got a pop quiz for you. We're going to see how intimate your marriage really is, okay? So I want you to get a piece of paper, and we are going to draw a chart, all right? So on the top, it's going to say rarely, sometimes, frequently, and then put numbers 1 to 20 down the side, okay? Rarely, sometimes, and frequently. So I'm Coach Carol, and I saved my marriage after 26 years when we were divorced, heading for divorce, and really struggling in our marriage. And I found skills that completely turned our marriage around, and now I love empowering women to do the same. So hopefully you've got your chart together, right? Rarely, sometimes, and frequently, 1 to 20. And I'm going to read these questions to you, and I want you to just score yourself, right? So number 1 is, do you feel superior to your husband? So if you do, right, rarely, sometimes, or frequently, number 1, feel superior to your husband. Number 2, nag your husband. Number 3, commiserate with other wives about your husband. Number 3 was commiserate with other wives about your husband. Number 4 is hear yourself say, I told my husband. Right? Number 4, do you hear yourself say, I told my husband? And number 5 is, do you think that everything would be fine if your husband would just do what you told him to do? Right? Do you think that everything would be fine if your husband would just do what you told him to do? Rarely, sometimes, or frequently. Okay? So number 6, do you ever eavesdrop on your husband's conversations? Number 6 is eavesdrop on your husband's conversations. And number 7 is, do you feel like the only adult in the family? You hear women say, gosh, I have 3 kids, 2 kids and a husband. Great, right? So number 7 is, do you feel like you're the only adult in the family? Number 8 is, do you feel overburdened in parenting your children? Number 8 is that do you feel overburdened in parenting your children? Number 9 is, do you do things for your husband that he's capable of doing himself? Number 9 is, do you do things for your husband that he is capable of doing for himself? Number 10, do you have recurring anxiety and depression? Do you have recurring anxiety and depression? Number 11, do you feel exhausted? Are you feeling exhausted? Rarely, sometimes, or frequently? Number 12, do you find that either of you is disinterested in sex? If either of you is disinterested in sex. Number 13, do you feel resentful or jealous about your husband's victories in life? Are you resentful or jealous about your husband's victories in life? Number 14 is, do you reject or criticize his gifts? When he brings you a gift, do you reject or criticize it? Number 15 is, do you fantasize about divorce or life with a man who would be a much better match for you? Number 15, do you fantasize about divorce or life with a man who would be much better for you? Number 16, do you discount the reasons that you chose your husband in the first place? Do you discount the reasons you chose your husband in the first place? Number 17, do you feel hopeless about your marriage because your needs have gone unmet for so long? Do you feel hopeless about your marriage because your needs have gone unmet for so long? Number 18, do you have a hard time trusting your husband in even small matters? Do you have a hard time trusting your husband in even small matters, right? Rarely, sometimes, or frequently. Number 19, do you find yourself trying to control your husband? Do you find yourself trying to control your husband? And number 20, do you get angry with your husband when he makes a poor decision? Do you get angry with your husband when he makes a poor decision? Rarely, sometimes, or frequently, right? So Now we're going to score. Okay, so to score yourself, I want you to count the check marks that you have in each column down, right? So add them all up, going all the way down on, so you're going to have 3 numbers here at the bottom, okay? So you get 5 points for every rarely. You get 3 points for every sometimes and 1 point for every frequently. So you're going to multiply the number at the bottom. So if it's a rarely, times 5. If it's a sometimes, times 3. And if it's frequently, times 1. And then you're going to add them up going across, okay? So I'm going to give you a second to do that. But your final score is going to be somewhere between 20 and 100, all right? So do you have your final score? Do you want to know what it means? So keep in mind, right, that we are all here because we want more intimacy. Now, intimacy is not just sex. Intimacy is that soft, that connection, that those tender moments that you wouldn't want to have with anybody else, right? That's what we have our husbands for. And so we're going to see how you did, all right? So the work that I do here, empowering women to have greater intimacy, to feel cherished, loved, adored in their marriages, this is just the beginning point to see maybe if you want to move the needle, so that maybe you want to, see that there's something lacking for you, all right? So if your score is 35 or less, you're probably asking, what intimacy, right? You've probably wondered what the heck you ever saw in this guy. But not to worry, right? The tenderness that you seek, it could just be dormant. It could be just dormant, right? If you can remember the reasons that you agreed to marry this man in the first place, and if you start respecting him for those reasons, you can still have the marriage that you dreamed of when you stood at the altar. Yes, like you'll find that the intimacy skills that I teach will give you the courage to stop controlling your husband. You won't be sorry. You can transform your marriage starting now. The less controlling that we are, the more that our men start stepping up and that intimacy returns, all right? So if you had a score of 36 to 60, you are probably overworked and underappreciated. And it's hard to tell because you make it look so easy, but you're doing too much and you need a break. So I want you to start to take better care of yourself and to ask for help more often and to receive it. Your vulnerability will be rewarded if your husband feels respected and needed. Thank your husband for his contributions, and you will be well on your way to igniting passion and achieving intimacy. But don't demand the help, right? Ask for it vulnerably. So did anybody score 61 or over? So here's what that means, right? Congratulations. Your marriage is intimate and passionate. You have found a man that you respect, and that the two of you have a positive impact on each other, and that the union really is a healthy mix of individuality and togetherness. You practice good self-care, you're quick to apologize, and he adores you for it. So, if you want more, I would love to have you join my private Facebook group, the Happy Wife Connection. And that community, and I'll post the link down below, is a place where we have some pretty intimate conversations and where I share when I'm offering a free talk or a workshop, and that I would love to be able to empower you and walk beside you as a coach that can give you, encouragement and tips, because like some people go to the gym and they never get a personal trainer, and they try to do it all on their own, right? Well, what would happen if you had a personal trainer? Or maybe your kids are going to baseball this spring, right? What if there was no coach and the kids were just trying to figure it all out by themselves, how to, and those kids on t-ball, right? Who's going to throw that ball? Who's going to learn how to catch and hit and all that fun stuff? Right? When there's a coach, you'll learn a whole lot faster. And so that's what I do. That's what I love to do. So subscribe down below to this channel. You'll keep getting updates. If you hit the little bell, you'll be notified when I post something new. And please post a comment and share. If you have somebody in your life who's struggling in her marriage, my audience, target market, the people that I work with are primarily women. So they are all women. So if you would share it with those, because honestly, nobody needs to suffer in their marriage any longer. So have a great day, and we'll talk again real soon.